Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 10 of season 2 of the F1 24 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Spanish Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Montreal, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We had quite a chaotic race. Sergio Perez decided he didn't really want to see me finish that one, which I personally felt was a bit mean, but luckily we were able to get to the checkered flag in Montreal as well there. Well, up to a nice total of 50 points on the board so far this campaign as Lewis Hamilton got back on the top step of the podium once again there, and in doing so has reclaimed the lead at the top of the Drivers' World table. 5 points in it between him and Charles Leclerc right now. 10 points in it between Ferrari and Mercedes at the top of the Constructors' Championship. There is going to be a lot to play for this season, and I'm really excited to see all the twists and turns that occur throughout this campaign. Of course, if that sounds good to you, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel as well. We're trying to hit 5,000 subs at the moment. Annoyingly, we did have 3 upgrades hopefully going onto the car in the not too distant future. One of them has failed, so yeah, not receiving an upgrade that could have been really useful this weekend here in Barcelona. We've got to try and save up another 1,000 R&D before we can try and get that applied. But yeah, the development rate seems pretty aggressive so far this campaign, so we're doing everything within our power to try and keep up. Let's see what we can do this weekend. Well, it's come very early on in the season, but Valtteri Bottas has already announced that he's going to be retiring at the end of the campaign. So Sauber, they're going to be looking for a new driver as we head towards Season 3. I wonder, because he's announced that now, could we see Bottas retire at the midway stage of the campaign? It really has been a disappointing year so far for the Flying Finn. No points scored. He is ahead of Zhou Guanyu in the championship. But yeah, that Kick Sauber car doesn't really look like it stands much of a chance. But yeah, Bottas announcing retirement. Let's get into qualifying.
Everyone, it is a track the drivers know oh so well. It is qualifying in Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix.
We're heading out then onto the Barcelona circuit. Looks like it's meant to be pretty sunny skies all weekend, but I'll be honest, yeah, this is going to be a tough one for us. We don't really get on that well with the Barcelona track, so anything, you know, if we could get points today, I think it would basically be a miracle, to be completely honest. But yeah, we'll wait and see as to what we can do there. Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, 2 Spaniards in 2 very competitive cars this season. So they'll be looking to try and get a big result in front of the home crowd as well. But yeah, for us, I think if we could score a point here, it would probably be a bit of a miracle, to be honest. Again, you have to try and compromise the setup to make sure that you're not overheating the tyres. It's something that the AI don't have to deal with. So we already know in qualifying, yeah, we'd lose a little bit extra. And even then, I don't know for sure whether those tyres will stay cool in the race. Try and navigate our way then in towards the final couple of turns. We've had a pretty tidy first lap. It'll serve as a good benchmark, but not really a lot else, to be honest. Not trying to take too much risk through the final couple of corners. Is the final corner completely flat out? Oh, I didn't want to leave it in 6th gear, but we did open up the DRS towards the line. And 11.99 there puts us in P... well, it was 11th. It's going to be 12.
Remaining.
Every other driver behind seemingly improving as well. Yes, slower than Hulkenberg and Esteban Ocon. Well, as we head back out then for our final run here, I think that all the local fans would be wanting this session to get red flagged, because currently Carlos Sainz is fastest. Fernando Alonso is P2 here. There's time for more upsets to come towards the end of the session, and I think if anyone else other than those two end up on the front row, the fans are going to be a little bit gutted here. Could we see Leclerc or Hamilton, our top 2 in the championship, really launch an attack right towards the end of the session?
Down to P16.
Could we go any higher than P16 as well? They're way further down the order than I would have wanted at the moment. Like I said, that first lap there were no major errors. It wasn't perfect either. There's definitely a little bit more time we can try and find as the lap unfolds. Maybe just use our battery a little bit more effectively as well there as we try and hang on to the car through turn 4. Are we going to see any other improvements, or is it going to be Carlos Sainz on pole position here? Those Red Bulls just holding back a little bit further behind. As there we go, Alonso. It's going to be the other Spaniard back fastest again then. So Sainz and Alonso at the moment trading that fastest lap time here as we chuck the car up through Campsa. Any major improvement now would be welcomed greatly here. It's just struggling a little bit to get the car tipped in. We get on the throttle nice and smoothly though, as we make our way through these 3 right-handers to finish off the lap. Need to use that battery. We've got plenty of it. Use it or lose it here as up into 7th gear we'll go. Ready for the final corner. Try and just hang on to it. Up towards the line. 3.5 tenths up. It's P14 on the grid. Better than we did in Canada. I don't think we can complain. The unpredictability that has remained a constant so far this season seems to continue here in Barcelona. Fernando Alonso back on pole ahead of his team. Sorry, not his teammate, his compatriot in Carlos Sainz there. 3 people from from Spanish-speaking countries. Of course, Sergio Perez, the Mexican, up in P3 there, ahead of Hamilton and George Russell. Once again, Verstappen really struggling. Still beat out Charles Leclerc and both McLaren cars, but surely today, Spain have got an opportunity to celebrate a home Grand Prix win.
Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya has been on the calendar for over 30 years now, and it has served up some classics. Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari in 1996 in the rain. We have much better weather here today for the Spanish Grand Prix. The Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya runs to 2.9 miles. It's a heady mix of high and low speed corners. Look out for the high downforce arc of turn 3, the 2 DRS zones, and the chicane at turns 14 and 15. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Fernando Alonso lines up on pole position, and the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Hamilton, Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Tsunoda, Gasly, Ricciardo, Mr. Monaco, Albon, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Bottas, Sargent, Teo Porcher, Stroll, Joe, and Ayumu Iwasa. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. It's race day, it's gonna be a thriller. I'm Alex Jakes, alongside me is Naomi Schiff. I love this moment in the weekend. Put us in their shoes right now. What are they feeling on the grid?
It's a very special time for the drivers. It's almost like everything around you slows down and you become hyper aware. So your nerves slightly go up, your adrenaline's going up. It's the perfect time to start focusing on your visualizations and preparing for the race. So you want to avoid distractions and really stay cool, calm, and focused.
Okay, so we didn't have the performance in qualifying this weekend, but considering last race, we might still be able to get a points finish.
Yeah, let's hope that we can try and move our way into the top 10 nice and early on, and then I think after that, just hang on and pray is going to be our strategy today. I didn't notice as well, Alex Jakes mentioning the chicane of 14 and 15. Not anymore, my friend. That chicane is gone, and I'm all the more thankful for it. I think for us, though, medium to hard is going to be the way to go today. I just don't have confidence in the soft compound tyres. I'll be interested to know whether AI try and do the same thing. Otherwise, they're going to have to take the gamble there. And it looks like we've got a bit of a split strategy at the moment. 5 red lights on the grid here in Barcelona. And it is going to be lights out. And away we go for a very wheel-spinny getaway. Alex Albon will immediately try and look alongside me down in towards the first corner. I'm hoping a gap will open up down around the outside through turn 1. But Gasly, yeah, just tries to cover that off. We'll actually find the avenue, though, still, to go around the outside of him and Ricciardo through turn 1. Little bit of contact with Tsunoda on the exit there as the other V-carb immediately is going to try and come back at me up through the top of the hill. But yeah, pretty good start then when you factor in those harder tyres as well. As soon as I say that, Gasly again trying to have a look back for it.
For threats around you.
Oh, we will send it down the inside of Danny Rick there. Do what the Australian does best in Formula 1. I believe both Spaniards, though, still at the front of the field there. I wonder, there was a little bit of an alliance created on Saturday night. You know, try and protect each other down in towards turn 1. And it's still Alonso then at the front of the field here on this first lap. Looks like Perez has dropped one place behind one of the Mercs. So Hamilton again will be looking to try and extend his lead over Leclerc in the Drivers' Championship. Merc want to get back ahead of Ferrari in the Constructors. I guess these early laps are critical for both ourselves and Yuki Tsunoda here. We've got to try and get these medium compound tyres fired up. And for him especially, he's got to try and stay in the range of Norris in front, which I think immediately he has failed on. Like we said, Stroll in the second Aston Martin taking some grid penalties. So at least we are still in the fight for a point. But it could be very quickly that we see those top 9 cars just drive away. Here we go, trying to gain just a little bit on Tsunoda back down towards turn 1. The V-carb there, I think we kind of caught him by surprise as to just how much speed we had at the end of that straight. But up into the top 10 we go for the first time today. So how are the tyres doing? They're looking pretty good. Right, let's see how much speed then Yuki Tsunoda's got when he's got the DRS there. In fact, both V-carbs are going to go past me. Back down towards turn 1. Ricciardo's just going to get a little box in there. And look how late we're able to brake still around the outside. We might lose both spots and immediately gain them back again. As Ricciardo just gets to the inside of me through turn 3.
Ahead, 3.4 seconds.
That's a very different car that's ahead of me there, because the one I can see is pretty much on my nose, but both V-carbs and myself then just breaking free a little bit from the rest of the field. Maybe we've got the pace over Albon in his Williams. On Mark, I don't care about that. I'm far more interested in Ricciardo versus Tsunoda. They seem to be really duking out early on. I mean, Ricciardo's on the softs, so if they wanted to be really strategic, they could get Yuki to back me up and let Ricciardo build a little bit of a DRS window. I don't think that's going to happen, though. And yeah, I'm interested to see how long it takes before the mediums are the tyre to have. This strategy by V-carb then is working very, very well right now. Yuki wasn't able to get a run on his teammate last time. Oh, here we go. This time around, he's going to try and have a look for it. But yeah, they're just team-working there. As you can see, Ricciardo just slots in back behind him down at turn 1. They're just working together to see if they can try and shake me out of the DRS window. We're desperately trying to keep up, but battery management as well can be really difficult to manage here. With Ricciardo now slotting in behind, will Yuki be able to break free? Well, I'm certainly not close enough to get a run on them, but yeah, they're trying to be really careful and break out of the DRS range as we get to the detection point there. So just using a little bit of battery between the last couple of corners. Again, though, Ricciardo will move back through. I mean, this is it's a good battle to watch, to be fair, but I want to try and get back between them at least, so we've got a bit more control. It's safe to say I'm happy I didn't start on the soft compound tyre here, because that front left is just getting into the overheating territory. Ricciardo again will have a look for a move down the inside of Yuki, as I think now their little flying formation's starting to become uneasy here, as we'll try and make it 3 wide. Off of turn 1, Ricciardo gets boxed in. Tsunoda has to back out of it, and round the outside will go. Of the pair of them through turn 3, Ricciardo's going to keep it on the inside. Can we go the long way around through turn 4 as well? No, we can't. Are we going to be close enough to go for a little bit of a send? No. Oh, Ricciardo just covers that one off there. So he just ran into the back of the Australian. Luckily, no damage done to either car. But yeah, I think Ricciardo now obviously just starting to think about his pit stop. We have got to be careful, obviously. Those soft compound runners might get an undercut on us. It might genuinely be better to pit early, lose the potential advantage at the end of the race, and make sure that we stay inside his DRS. I think that's what's keeping me close to Ricciardo right now, so it's probably still another couple of laps before he pits.
Push your overtake button more. It's time to utilise some of this energy. Come on.
Well, the first third of this Grand Prix has really felt like a game of chess right now. Everybody just trying to make sure they're in the right spot at the right time. Is to the outside of Danny Rick will go again. And oh, that time around there we've got just that little bit more braking performance on our tyres. Just so I keep it between track limits through turn 2. And we're back into 10th again. Well, this is going to be, I believe, Daniel Ricciardo's pit-in lap. So he's going to try and get back ahead of me here down towards turn 1. We're going to try to stop that happening to the best of our abilities. Or you do not want to nick that little sausage curb on the inside of turn 2. You can avoid it or you can run over it. You just don't want to hit it with the tyre there. Otherwise, it just unsettles you like you've just witnessed. But yeah, Ricciardo desperate. I think, yeah, I don't know whether it's worth us to box this lap as well. Team want me to stay out a little bit longer. I'm tempted to go 1 further, just because the tyre warm-up is a bit of a process as well around this track. So, just see there, turn 7, turn 8. Nick the grass on the way in. That'll cost us on the way out. And I mean, those top runners still nose to tail. They haven't really had much time to look at them. But I believe Hamilton is to the front of the field then as Alonso is going to be the first driver to blink in this Grand Prix. He's joined by Leclerc and Lando Norris as Ricciardo then into the pit lane. So we've got to go for it on this lap then to try not get undercut by the V-car.
This is stopping now.
He might get a little bit held up by some of those cars further behind who are trying to pit. But yeah, luckily for us, clean track space in front. This lap really matters. Well, not only would the tyre temperature have been pretty outrageous, but I don't think we would have made it wear-wise either to about lap 13 on those soft compound tyres. So yeah, the medium to hard, definitely still the way to go for me inside this game, especially in a car that's a little bit weaker. You know, put us in our Ferrari from the driver career mode, we might stand a good chance, but this thing, absolutely not. As into the pits we're going to come. Trying not to hit the wall there on the way in. Tsunoda will stay out for one more there, and we pretty much nailed that pit lane entry. Nobody behind us peeling in until you look all the way back to Théo Pourchaire, so we shouldn't get held up. But yeah, for us now, it is all about where we're going to re-emerge relative to Ricciardo. As
Ayumu's coming in for his stop.
Ayumu in the pits as well. That's not ideal, but I don't really care.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Where's Esteban Ocon come from in all of this? Ocon now getting the jump, as Ricciardo will go around the outside of the Alpine down at turn 1. We've got to try and get our tyres up to temperature here, but Ocon suddenly has got himself back in the fight. Can we get up the inside of Ricciardo on the exit? Gonna have to use plenty of ERS even up through turn 3. Ricciardo wanted to chop me off. Not going to happen that time round, but he's got the speed off of the corner. To the inside again will go, and this works out beautifully for Esteban. So, I mean, that was an aggressive move there. We get a huge kick of oversteer on the exit as well. But we hang on in front of Danny Rick. But has Esti Bestie just mugged all of us off? I have no idea how Esteban Ocon has not only been able to get the undercut, but is also now pulling away from myself and Danny Rick.
Car is an Alpine. Okay.
There we go. Gasly as well's done it.
By 2.1 seconds.
And where on earth is Yuki Tsunoda in all of this? I can only hope that he stayed out for one extra lap, and I just haven't spotted him.
They've got some kind of mechanical problem.
Well, Stroll, a mechanical issue will be the thing driving it, but yeah, Ricciardo jumping us, Gasly jumping us, Ocon jumping us. Where on earth is Tsunoda in all of this? I can't see him on my mini-map, mainly because my mini-map's hidden. He's still out there, that's okay. But Alpine, hiding pace all weekend, have now unleashed. There we go, Tsunoda, last car into the pit lane then, so it's interesting when the AI decide to spread out their stops a little bit more. I think we're going to be ahead of the Japanese driver, but even then, look! How have we not undercut even Yuki Tsunoda here? What on earth is going on in this race there as Magnussen tries to have a look down my inside? We'll go somewhere around the outside of Yuki in the process. But all of those fresh medium compound runners...
You can play around with the RS modes in the MFD, or lift sometimes and ease onto the brake pedal for some manual recharge.
We have been completely mugged off in this race, and I guess all we can really do is try to hang on out here and just see if this race comes back to us towards the end. Well, I don't really think there's going to be much point in holding up Yuki Tsunoda here. I do think it's going to be a bit more important to try and hide Hulkenberg, though, who dives it down the inside. Oh, no! What is Hulkenberg doing there as the other... please avoid me. Please avoid me. Thank you. Kind of... Oh, great.
Safety car is out.
Great.
Warm up at reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive.
I think the worst bit about that is, of course, now we're restarting this race from the back of the field, all the way down in P21.
But this is a chance to take a breath. We've got another half of this race to go, and there's still a big opportunity there.
Well, we know we can go back to the medium compounded tyre, but just a tiny bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. It was actually the rear wheels that came together between myself and the Hulk, but soft compound tyres going back on the wagon then to hopefully the end of the afternoon. Alonso leads this one from pole. It's going to be 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go. They're trying to get the wheel spin sorted. And we've gained a couple of spots again ahead of Sargent and Lance Stroll there, so not too sure how we've managed that one. But surely now we won't be able to get back up inside the top 10 here, as again we're trying to have a look around the outside through turn 1. And again, we were just about to get some breathing room there, so really happy we're able to make the moves. I mean, everybody seemingly is on harder tyres there, with the exception of Bottas, who somehow has ended up on the softs. As down the inside, that was aggressive to get back past Daniel Ricciardo again. I don't want to give up on the idea of scoring points here, and especially if everybody wants to run 2x2, we will try to capitalise. This has worked out really well for us against those drivers that just pit onto the medium compound when they boxed, because of course they've all had to go to hards now, and we're able to take another set of mediums to the end of the afternoon.
Great pass.
Almost immediately back up then into P12 here, as everybody still is tripping over each other off of this restart lap. Down the inside of Gasly will try and have a go. Maybe a little bit too optimistic to try and pull off that one, but Ocon in front as well. He's on soft compound tyres, so he will make it to the end, but they are not going to be comfortable there, as Alonso this time using that restart to perfection.
Take button and see what you can do.
The Spaniard back out in front, Hamilton ahead of Sainz.
DRS is now online.
And Mark apparently won't let me get a word in edgeways. Well, that restart has left pretty much every AI car scrambling to try and gain up spots here as best as they can. It really has presented an opportunity to a lot of drivers in this race, but Fernando Alonso, let's not forget, his last ever real win in Formula 1 came at this circuit back in 2013. He's got a big lead now at the front of the field. Could the Spaniard, after 11 years, finally break his F1 curse? Look at that Ferrari moving up to P2. I think that's therefore a Spanish 1-2 again in this Grand Prix. Sergio Perez really struggling though still, as Ricciardo and Tsunoda, no, it's Tsunoda and Albon, sorry, battling it out behind us. So we've got a little bit of breathing room now from Danny Rick. Nice for once to have the pace over him. Admittedly, I'm sure there is a little bit of an oddity here, the fact that maybe bringing out that red flag has saved us, but you kind of got to play to what's given. I'm looking at this train of cars right now. Piastri, he might lose the DRS range to Esteban Ocon, but if Ocon loses the range to those cars in front, I think the floodgates are going to open towards the end of this one. We've got so much straight line speed down towards someone. I mean, look at that. 221 miles an hour has got to be a record here in Barcelona. Normally, you're lucky to see 200 around this circuit, but yeah, Piastri is dropping away. If we need to try and see Gasly get a run on him, but I'm hoping Ocon will fall back as well, mainly because Alpine are one of our championship rivals. Oh, here we go, Gasly this time having a look past Oscar Piastri. These two, maybe in some crazy alternate universe, could have been teammates in Formula 1. You can see now Oscar there making the move. Pierre even making the move down at turn 1. Like I said, we're just waiting to see whether these two drop out of the range. Will Ocon do the same as well? There could still be a couple of points up for grabs today. Surely Piastri's going to get back past Pierre here on the run back down towards turn 1. And we've got the best seat in the house to watch it all happen. But you can see both of them really struggling actually with battery lay on. So I think Gasly, he still had the range on Ocon. And surely Ocon has lost it to that car in front. We're going to see that gap coming down over the next few. I mean, how is he not? Got more yellows. We've got yellows out late on. I think one of the Haas cars is having a mechanical. Don't know whether that's Magnussen or Hulkenberg. It is Nico Hulkenberg. So the man that we collided with that brought that red flag out is out of the Grand Prix there. I don't believe it would have been due to the contact made. But Hulkenberg, our first casualty of the day then, as here goes Oscar Piastri again. Trying to have a look around the outside of Pierre Gasly down towards turn 1. Are we going to see the McLaren man hook it up? Are we potentially going to be able to get involved there as Gasly will swoop back through? Oh, and Oscar there tried to cover me off on the exit, but we should be able to get the car down the inside. Up in towards turn 4 there. That McLaren should have more grip, but he is really struggling there as we squeeze Oscar right out to the grass. And we're up into P11 then. But annoyingly, Gasly seems to be closing in on Ocon as more battles in front. I remember how I felt a few weeks back watching Hamilton end his winless run at Silverstone. I was watching from home, but boy oh boy was I willing him on towards the end of the race. I have no idea how the die-hard Spanish fans must be feeling right now. 11 years, 12 years technically, inside this timeline it has been since Alonso last won a Formula 1 Grand Prix. So you can still see cars up in front battling there. Here we go. French Civil War, perhaps Ocon and Gasly really trying to squeeze each other down at turn 1. And are we going to be able to capitalise on this one? It's deja vu. As all around the outside of Esteban, we'll try and have a look there. Not enough grip, else we'll just get forced out onto the dirty side of the track. Oscar Piastri again will try and return the favour on me. And we just haven't got enough grip there to try and hang on to him. So Oscar Piastri back into P10. And we go, into P11 even. We go from potentially gaining 2 places to actually losing 1 in all of that. But Alonso, I don't want to jinx it yet. He's looking pretty good up at the front of the field. Sainz as well has built up a tiny margin over the Mercs. But surely, yeah, Ocon, Gasly, Oscar and myself are going to be battling it out to the flag for the final points. I mean, this has got to be one of the craziest Spanish Grand Prix I've ever had. This track never delivers good races. Why is it suddenly done so today? Here we go, Ocon again to the outside of Gasly, back down towards turn 1. Oh, Oscar Piastri broke way earlier than I was expected. Somehow, we will find the grip there and get right the way around his outside. So immediately after losing the spot, we'll go and gain it again. No contact was made there. How on earth did we pull that one off? Well, 2 laps to go then. We've got to make an impact now. We've got to get at least between those Alpines here. Ready for the final lap of the race. Hang on to it through that final corner. Here we go, Gasly. He's going to be forced to the outside of his teammate once again there. Well, I think Ocon this time around is just going to slot in behind his teammate, so nothing we can really do. An Alpine now, we saw it with V-Carb earlier on in the race. They seem to be engaged with the flying formation late on. And could we see Alpine seemingly out of nowhere before the pit stops be on for a double points haul? Well, as Fernando Alonso rounds his way through the penultimate corners to take to the last lap of the Spanish Grand Prix. I'm sure if he had to pick one race to win, he would tell you any of them. I'm sure if he was asked again to answer seriously,
make use of the overtake button and see what you can do.
He would surely pick his home race here in Barcelona.
Final lap of the race, final lap.
Can we get the run on Esteban Ocon? We're going to drain all the battery back down towards the one there. But look at how slow Gasly is. Round the outside of Esteban will go. His soft compound tyres, I think, have all but given up the ghost here on the final lap of this race. Will we find a chance to get around Pierre Gasly as well? Or have we just been able to get ourselves into the best position we possibly can? We've been fighting in and around the top 10 all afternoon, but I will be incredibly happy if we walk away with a point here. Fernando Alonso, though, he's watched one of his big rivals in Lewis Hamilton take wins so far this year prove that age is just a number, and as he makes his way in towards the final sector here today, it looks like the Spaniard is going to prove that as well through the final couple of corners. Alonso in front of adoring Spanish fans. It has been 12 years since we saw him take victory in a Formula 1 Grand Prix out of the final corner. Fernando Alonso back on top here in Barcelona. What a win for him and Aston Martin, and maybe now they are a title threat. Through the final couple of corners for us, though, it's going to be P10 in the end. Hard-earned points. We really gave it everything today.
What a drive! What a performance! Fernando Alonso takes victory!
And I just absolutely love the scenes of that in lap today. You could see how much this meant to the crowd, and you know that for the driver that's going to mean so much. You look up to the crowd and you know that the majority of them there are there for you today. So it was a great day to make it count.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Aston Martin really are making waves in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn the top spot.
I think everyone on the podium this weekend is going to be very, very happy. Fernando Alonso, our Formula 1 Grand Prix winner once again, beats out Lewis Hamilton, who will extend his world title lead there, and Russell as well, showcasing what he and Mercedes are capable of there. Sainz gutted in P4 to miss out on a podium in the end by just fine margins there, but he does beat out Verstappen, Perez, his teammate, Norris, Gasly and myself inside the top 10 there. I mean, ultimately, looking throughout that race today, I think P10 was sensibly all we could have ever hoped for, and yet just fell into place right at the very end there. Hulkenberg, the only driver not to see the flag, and yeah, once again, Ayumu Iwasa a little way away from the rest of the field there. That means at the top of the table, Hamilton now with a 17-point buffer over Charles again, 49 points clear of Max Verstappen as well. So the Dutchman just doesn't seem to be able to make an impact so far in this campaign there. Alonso leapfrogs his way into P4, getting ahead of Sainz and Lando Norris there, with Sergio Perez down in P7. We are still in a bit of a lonely 10th place. Our battle could be with Oscar Piastri in front, could easily end up being with Lance Stroll behind us, depending on how things go this season. And I believe for Gasly, yeah, a couple of extra points added to his tally. Constructors-wise, though, Alpine, yeah, make a small gain on ourselves and VCARB there, so I'm sure they'll be happy with that. Mercedes retake the lead at the top of the Constructors as well there, with Red Bull 42 points back in P3. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the Austrian sprint weekend.